I'm sorry, I can't assist with that.
48 years old when he married his 14-year-old pregnant bride, and they signed off on it. Now we go to this family, and the same thing happens again. All right, and nobody talked. Nobody said anything. Again, new evidentiary photos we can look at. Let me see if there's anything that other than just the kind of same old stuff. All right. Look at the car, guy. Even the car. Look at that. There's cigarette butts on the floor and like chopstick packets. And I didn't even see those ones yet. Look at that, guys. Like, okay, look, that was a whole, let's say that's a 10 by 10 area. That's a whole waste of a 10 by 10 because it's all trash. Look at the car. I mean, the car is probably the cleanest thing, but it's disgusting. All right, let's see if there's any new ones here. No, that's pretty much it. All right, and then that's it. All right, let's get into the a marriage, and then we're going to talk about the psychology today as well. That's going to be a big topic after I get through what the other side is. Okay, they crossed over to West Virginia, and he approved the marriage license for 15-year-old Elizabeth Siders in 2008. Let me pop this up there for a second. This is Elizabeth Siders on the left, and then her on the right. Elizabeth Siders in the middle when she got married at 15, and now her at 33 years later. Okay? And I thought you guys would heavily agree with me, but I want to put something out for both sides so people aren't saying, you're unfair about it. No, I'm giving you both sides. Yep. You got it. All right. Let's get back to that. All right. Judge signed off on that marriage. Sure did.
I can see someone going, how does someone get married at 15? And isn't that a red flag from the beginning?
Yes. Yeah.
Tonight, we're looking back to the very start when Elizabeth Siders got married to Gary Jr. at the age of 15. A circuit court judge in West Virginia granted that marriage license back in 2008. Just 2 months later, the oldest victim in this case was born. Investigator Lisa Rontola digging deeper into the story.
Now 33, Elizabeth Siders faces 16 counts of endangering children after 16 kids were rescued from this Vinton County home. But nearly 20 years ago, she was a 15-year-old bride to her then 18-year-old husband, Gary Siders Jr. in Mason County, West Virginia. His parents, Gary Siders Sr. and Christina Siders, are also listed on the marriage license.
At the time, there was no age that minimum to marry in West Virginia.
Attorney Amanda Alexander practices family law in West Virginia.
Now, listen, guys, we have 420 people in chat. I'm about to gift a membership or two. Stay here, hit that like button, subscribe, guys. We're an hour and 20 minutes in, and we're just at the tip of the iceberg, my friends. Stay here, relax. All right, we're gonna be here for a while. I agree with you, Deborah. Mindy, so good to see you, my friend. So good. There's so many good people in this community. Thank you guys for showing up, per usual. All right, I'm gonna give some memberships today. That way you guys can have a membership for members only Monday.
She tells me a 15-year-old could marry then with the consent of her parents.
Could the judge have stopped it?
The judge absolutely could have stopped this marriage.
But Alexander says the law did not state the court needed to investigate.
I would want to know the relationship between the two. I'd probably want to interview, or at least the point of guardian, I'd like them to interview the bride separately.
Fast forward another 15 years. Lawmakers in West Virginia introduced a new law to increase the minimum marriage age to 18, no exceptions. However, that's not what passed. Senators changed it to age 16 with parent and court consent. And the age gap.
Wow, don't you guys think that they should be responsible for this? If this judge that's going to sign off, hillbillies. If the judge is going to sign off on the, hey, Wendy, shouldn't he take responsibility? I mean, the judge that signed off on their marriage signed off on them having their first child. All right. That child that's been abused and in question of whether they had, whether they've been birthing children within the family or not.
That between spouses should be no more than 4 years. Again, no requirement for a court investigation.
Should you be asking those questions as a court to make sure there's no victimization?
Absolutely.
And since the oldest victim in the Siders case was born after Elizabeth and Gary Jr.'s marriage when Elizabeth was 15, and the next victim was born when Elizabeth was 16, I asked investigators last week if Elizabeth was also a victim.
All right, guys, and we're talking about, that's a huge thing today. It's Ohio House of Horrors, mom of 16. Is she a victim, an abuser, or both? Who should be charged for these crimes? And what should they be charged for? All right, this is the huge topic of today as we're leading up to this. I hope if you guys received a membership, come on out and say hi. I'm going to gift more in a bit. All right, I know, I agree. And I love that someone said, who's voting? Are they the pedos? I know. Zodiac, you're out. Zodiac, it's Leo and Cancer season, baby. What's up? Jeannie, that's funny thing that it is clear to me as well, but it's not clear. It's not clear because nobody knows who did what. That's why they're DNA testing. So I feel the same way you do. I can't say that until, well, the rush is so that they don't get charged as being a pedo and they can keep knocking girls up like this as much as they want without anyone saying anything.
Did Elizabeth Sider birth any or all of these children? And is she a victim herself?
That is all still part of the ongoing investigation. At this time, we can't continue on that.
And that is where Alexander tells me she sees more cracks in the system.
Did she receive prenatal care as a minor? How many children did she have as a minor? Those are things that
Hey,
Job and
Felicity.
Family Services look into it at that point, so that we didn't get to a point where there were 16 children living in the basement.
On your side, I'm Chief Investigator Lisa Rontola.
Mm-hmm. All right, so guys, I'm trying to get through all the questions that you have and that I have that I've had. All right, so that's why I'm doing this, and then we're going to get into psychology. A lot of other people are covering this case, but they're not answering all the questions that I want, and so I'll answer the questions for me and for you because I am in a sort of a rabbit hole with this. Okay, 18 births, guys. This came out 7 hours ago. 18 births in less than 17 years have put a new focus on whether medical professionals should have spotted a sign of trouble in what was to become Vinton County's massive child endangerment case. Now, if this is true, and these children are all accounted for with birth certificates, we're halfway to waiting till the DNA tests come back to see if truly all of these children were birthed by these two. If there was incest going on, if the children were having children with the father, with the grandpa. All right. Let's take a look. Let's answer some of these questions and get it out of the way.
Guys, as I said, I reviewed 15 birth certificates of the 16
There you go.
victims and 2 death certificates of the twins born in 2022.
18 children. Okay. She reviewed all the birth certificates and the death certificate for the 2 conjoined twins. Also, Elizabeth is currently pregnant, awaiting trial. All right. Or awaiting not a trial, but they're going to they waive their right for a preliminary hearing, and they're going to have a grand jury indict them. All right, with an 8th grade education, just where would Elizabeth go? Get real, please. I'm not sure who's saying get real about what, but yeah, I mean, I'm agreeing with y'all. Elizabeth's hoo-ha. Does she still have a hoo-ha left? I don't even think you can have kids anymore. He is a sex offender, may have victimized. I agree with that, Mindy, and that's my problem with this case. If you didn't do anything wrong except for have children and be dirty, what are you hiding the children for? Why aren't you coming out? Why aren't you declaring these children as children and getting them education? Why not get child support? I mean, not child support, but support, food stamps, whatever to help the family be better and do better. All right. Bye, Allie. Have a good night. I'm glad you made it. Who are the parents? Need no keep on. All right, let's continue. I just want to get some of these questions out of the way because we're all wondering the same thing.
State suspects Elizabeth Sider and her husband, Gary Siders Jr., as the parents. In fact, that same midwife delivered 6 of the children, 2 born when Elizabeth was legally a child herself.
According to the law,
Is neglect subject to mandatory reporting?
abuse, neglect, and dependency.
Health professionals in Ohio must contact police or children's services if they suspect child abuse. I obtained records for 18 children that list Vinton County suspects Elizabeth Siders and Gary Siders Jr. as mom and dad. Their first was born at Holzer Health Systems in Gallia County when Elizabeth was just 15 years old.